what's up? Meeting here with my amazing husband Isaiah.
Hello.
My amazing kitten Monkey. And oops, I got my Anyway, we're back with Genshin Impact. And I have no idea what episode number this is. You'll know. I won't. Anyway. So I'm just kind of recording in batches. I'm splitting the episodes. Recording episodes. The last time we made it to Inazuma. And I figured out that I can change my profile pic avatar to Monsieur's. So, yeah. There's quite a decent amount of characters up there. Don't know. Indeed. So, we'll continue on that quest for a bit. I might do some side quests today. I don't know. Who knows? I'm gonna mainly try to focus on the main story because that's what people are interested in, I think. The game is long, so. We can continue. Go far enough.
Huh? Hello there. You must be seeking refuge with the International Trade Association. The Outlander Affairs Agency took you for all you're worth, I suppose.
Yeah, I was dental appointment yesterday and you had to get a tooth extracted. Doing much better today, so. I've got an appointment in 2 weeks to get another checkup. I'm sure gonna hate me for it, but help it feel better. But this will come out a year later, so. Quite literally. Hopefully we have fun.
Ah, good. That's a relief. You need to be careful, or you'll find yourself losing your savings all at once.
We heard the association has been having some difficulties lately. Is that true?
Yes. Left, right, and center. Obstacles at every turn. But that's nothing new for us.
The Sakoku decree certainly makes things difficult for anyone who wants to come here from overseas.
But it's not the root cause of our woes. The Sakoku decree might restrict our scope of activity, but in and of itself, it doesn't stop us from being able to enjoy a comfortable existence. No. What's really squeezing us Outlander merchants dry is those Mora grubbers from the Kanjo Commission.
Oh, of the 3 commissions, that's the one that oversees everything on retail, isn't it?
That's right. They impose astronomical tax rate, unbelievable regulations, and that's not the worst of it. They just issued a new tax decree recently that, for some reason, completely changes the way we pay our taxes. It used to be Mora, but now it's something called Crystal Marrow.
Crystal Marrow? What's that?
Something that most of us in the association had never heard of before either, until the new decree came along. Eventually, one of the older Liyue merchants recalled that he once shipped a batch of it to Snezhnaya in his youth. So, in order to pay our taxes, we began an arduous search for this Crystal Marrow. But then we found we'd only managed to create a bigger problem for ourselves. The rising demand for Crystal Marrow drove the price higher and higher. Now there's only one vendor who even has it in stock. We can't get a hold of it anywhere else.
Isn't that what they call a monopoly?
Exactly. So this vendor keeps pushing the price up, and we have no choice but to buy from them because the tax decree forces us to. It's a vicious cycle. The consequence of which is that our taxes will soon exceed our profits. And once that happens...
Excuse the geese.
Yeah, they're very geesy.
Can you discuss the situation with the commission?
We've tried communicating with the Commission directly, but this is a nation where the cries of a few struggling merchants will never be heard over the ever-present roar of thunder. Fontaine, my dear homeland. I miss you an awful lot at the moment.
Sounds awful. They're really bleeding them dry. What do you think we should do?
The vendor does sound like a fishy character.
That vendor. I've actually done business with him in the past, but after a point he stopped contacting us. I have no idea where he sources the stuff.
Well, it definitely sounds like he's being unfair. How do we find him? We could go talk to him and see if he lets anything slip.
Hey, that's a pretty good idea. Since you're not affiliated with the association and you're new to Rito, he may just let his guard down. If I remember correctly, our usual meeting point with him is under a tree by the coast in the residential district. See if you can find him there.
Got it. We're on the case.
Yes.
Indeed we do.
Should I close
You're really pretty. A little bit.
I don't think I recognize you. Are you new arrivals?
You don't recognize me, but I'm the fixer around these parts.
Haha, very funny. Real fixers don't need to refer to themselves that way. I wasn't
I was
born
joking.
yesterday, you know. So, what do you need with me?
Where do you source your
The
goods?
sheer nerve. You don't go around asking questions like that. If I gave you my sources, I might as well hand you the whole darn business. Trade secret. Got it? You know what trade and secret mean, right?
This guy's got a bad attitude.
You reduce your prices?
Are you even buying? Oh, I see what's going on here. Karisu and his associates sent you here to try and plead their case, didn't they? They're wasting their time. The price is non-negotiable, not by a single Mora.
Hey, what's your problem?
Get out of here, go on. Tell them they're lucky to be buying from me in the first place, and they ought to be more grateful. If it weren't for me, they'd be in seriously hot water.
What are we gonna do? There's no talking to this guy.
Let's go talk to Tom.
Good idea. Let's check back in with him.
What do you sell? Defense stuff. Checking back in.
That was quick. You resolved it already?
Actually,
Not really.
we're having a little trouble.
We're going to have to help us help you.
No? Well, by all means, tell me what you need. I'll help as much as I can. Getting you to go fixing things when you've only just arrived is quite a demand.
What do you know about Yeah.
Oh, that guy? I'm familiar. He used to be a bit of a sorry sight, selling shells that he collect on the beach just to get by, but he seems to have suddenly shot up in the world recently. I can only assume he must have found himself a patron after leaving the International Trade Association.
Huh. You're saying he used to be a member of the International Trade Association? So he's an Outlander too?
Yes. Couldn't you tell when you spoke to him?
Sound like monster to me.
That's right. Werner was born in Mondstadt, then went into the shipping business, trading between Leah and Inazuma. When Inazuma closed to the outside world, he was one of a group of Outlanders that ended up stranded on Rito.
Huh. What a bummer.
The International Trade Association was initially very generous to him, but over time, with decree after decree, the association members found it increasingly difficult to make ends meet.
So he left the association and turned his back on them.
I'm sure it's more nuanced than that. I believe even the most ungrateful and cold-hearted of people still have some amount of gratitude and warmth left in them somewhere.
I'll go back and talk to him. Yeah.
Really? Is that all you need to know?
Well then, it sounds like you may have found a way in with him.
Let's go talk to him again.
What are you doing back here? Just because I got plenty of time on my hands doesn't mean I want to waste any of it talking to you.
I'm on your hands. Someone calls that a form of freedom.
Huh? Where's this coming from?
A Bard's Serenade would be perfect.
Mondstadt? You were talking about Mondstadt. Goodness, I can sense it now. So familiar, but I can't remember the last time I was there. The scent of Mondstadt. Oh, how it takes me back.
May the Anemo Archon protect you.
Ah, my hometown. The home of freedom. How I long to go back and visit.
It's working!
So, trying to play my heartstrings like a liar, are you? I know what you're up to.
Not lying. Close your eyes.
Huh? What is this? What are you up to now?
Just close your eyes already!
Listen closely. Doesn't it sound familiar?
You mean the sound of the ocean?
Grilled tigerfish. Get it while it's hot.
Leah Harbor. I can see it so clearly. Oh, and the sound of the waves. The calls of the merchants.
May the flames of virtue spread tall.
Xiao lanterns. I'm right there at the lantern right. Oh, look at them floating up into the sky.
This guy has a really active imagination. Either that or he really does miss Liyue Harbor.
Liyue. Wait. Stop. That's enough. Don't make me relive it anymore. My poor heart can't take it.
A lot of people out there sympathize with the position you're
You
in.
mean the folks from the International Trade Association? And I suppose they are far from home, just like me. Often, I'll sneak down to the shore at night and listen to the sound of the waves. I like to imagine it's the voice of my hometown, carried across the ocean. I've run into folks from the association more than a few times doing just that, but I always hide my face and slip away. Don't you think I've wanted to talk things through with them and free myself from this anguish?
Well, no one's stopping you, so...
They're so resilient. None of them had anyone else to rely on, so they rallied together, committed to finding a way to survive. But I couldn't do it. I'm not strong enough. So I caved. Those people, they'd make the smallest of promises, offer the most measly benefits, and I'd do whatever they asked of me. And make Mondstadters look like the worst people in the world.
Who are those people?
All right. I'll tell you the whole story. It's eating me up inside, and I can't take it anymore.
You ready to talk now?
The International Trade Association will protect you.
But I betrayed them. I can't show my face there.
Come on, you scaredy cat. Look, you messed up, but now it's time to make things right. So come on, get it off your chest. What's the deal here?
It's a scheme by the tax collection Ashigaru, Keijiro and his companions. They start by overtaxing the merchants, then take the extra crystal marrow they receive and stockpile it. Once the merchants run out of places to buy crystal marrow, they get me to sell that extra stock back to the merchants at an extortionate price, with the proceeds going to the tax collection Ashigaru.
It's plain evil gouging them like this.
I'm their puppet, yes. But my cut is a tiny fraction of what we take in total. It's barely enough for me to live on.
We need evidence.
Evidence? You're right. Without conclusive evidence, he will never admit it. Now that I think about it, whenever I report back to him after a sale, he always heads to the same place. It's always made me suspicious. As it happens, I handed some Mora over to him not long ago. I can show you where he went if you want.
Really? Well, then there's no time to lose. Let's go.
Yes.
Keijiro! It's him!
After him!
We followed up and how do I crouch again?
Should I freedom? Which one should I choose? It's not like I'll get any customers.
Ah, Ryoko, how's business?
All the better thanks to your generous patronage.
Good. Thankfully, I earn plenty these days.
Oh, but of course, tax collection is difficult work.
Now, who else is behind on payments? Let me think. Yes, the Trade Association clique still needs to be brought into line.
I'm nervous.
What was that sound?
Quiet! Don't let him find us!
Must be hearing things. Drat, I'm behind schedule. I need to hurry.
He's getting further and further away! Let's catch up a little.
That's not me. That's Monkey's friend. Stop hurting him.
What could he be doing at a place like this?
It looked like he buried something over there, didn't it? Why don't we take a look? Whoa, it's a ledger. Boring! Paimon thought he'd hidden a big pile of Mora here.
Oh yes, the real reason Paimon came along.
Yeah.
Let me take a look here. Aha, yes! This is what we're looking for. A clear and complete record of every single transaction, each one proof of his guilt.
Great! Well, now we have our hard evidence. Let's go tell Karisu the good news, shall we?
I'll say goodbye to you here then.
Huh? You aren't gonna come with us?
I need a little more time before I'm ready to face the head of the association. I'm sorry.
Huh. Poor Werner's a pretty awkward guy, huh?
Ah, hello. Are you here for something off the shelf, or do you need something forged?
Excuse me, Master Zhang. We were wondering if you'd heard of something called a Wonder Core.
Of course I have. Sorry, who's asking?
My name is Yunjin. Perhaps you don't know me, but I believe that you forged some weaponry for my father in the past, for stage use.
Yunjin? Stage use? Oh, so you must be Miss Yoon. Sorry, my brain's finally caught up. It's not used to doing much beyond bashing a hammer all day. Everyone's heard of you, Miss Yoon. Even folks who don't make it to the opera all that often. Like myself. So, you're here to ask about Wonder Cores, huh? As it happens, I do know how to make them. Matter of fact, I made some for Lady Ningguang back when she was building the original Jade Chamber. The types of ore needed to make Wonder Cores are a little hard to come by. Lady Ningguang supplied them herself last time. I don't suppose you've brought any yourselves?
No, we were gonna ask you what kinds of ore we need.
Sure. Well, you'll need two kinds. Star Splinter Iron and Subrosium. If I remember correctly, Lady Ningguang sourced her Star Splinter Iron from the Mount Tianheng area. They say it resonates with visions.
I apologize, I had a
It could take some work, but if you stick with it, you'll find some eventually. As for the Subrosium, though, that's trickier. It's all but unheard of on the market.
And where do we start?
I'm really not sure. Sorry. What I've heard is that the people around Mount Tianheng have some sort of magic trick that can pinpoint the location of the stuff. Of course, it's probably just hearsay. If you want my advice, start by looking for Star Splinter Iron around Mount Tianheng. And if you run into any locals, ask them a few questions about Subrosium.
Mount Tianheng.
Interestingly enough, the story of the divine damsel of devastation also takes place on that mountain. I hear the view there is quite spectacular. A favorite destination of the Adepti, in fact. Perhaps it can give me some inspiration. Let's not delay. We should head straight there.
I love teleporting. Makes things go so much faster.
Yeah.
I came to Mount Tianheng once with my father as a child. I remember it being such a long climb that I could barely feel my legs by the time we reached the top. This is quite a trip down memory lane for me. Look at these majestic, towering peaks, and the gently flowing streams. It's like setting foot in paradise. No wonder the legend of the divine damsel of devastation is said to have taken place here. Adepti wander oft where mortals seldom stride. Indeed, this looks like a place that one might expect to be frequented by Adepti.
The Divine Damsel of Devastation is your upcoming opera, right? And the story takes place in Mount Tianheng. Huh. Seems like you have a real connection with this place. What's the story about, though?
It's the story of a girl becoming a hero.
Cool. A hero story? They're Paimon's favorite!
The legend first arose in this area. It is said that there used to be a prosperous village on the mountain. In that village, there was a loving couple who were completely devoted to one another. One day, a terrifying monster appeared. The wife was out collecting herbs and was captured by the monster. Her husband was so distraught at the news that it broke his spirit and drove him to madness. The vile and vicious monster told the villagers, "If you want to live, you must sacrifice a child to me."
What a nasty piece of work! Paimon sure hopes this monster gets put in its place!
But the monster was so terrible and so strong that all within the village were terrified of it. They had no choice but to give in to the monster's demand. Just while they were discussing whose child would be given over to the monster, a little girl suddenly stood up and came forward.
No! Don't do it, little girl!
Unbeknownst to anybody else, she was concealing an exorcist's blade. She approached the monster's lair, feigning fear and trepidation. When she finally arrived, she courageously drew her sword and entered into a fierce struggle with the monster, from which she eventually emerged as the victor. Her extraordinary abilities drew the attention of the Adepti, and they took her as one of their own. Her story became the stuff of legends. But alas, the paths of mortals and Adepti seldom cross, and she would never again re-enter the mortal world. And so, destined to grace the mortal realm for but a brief moment, she vanished like a wisp of smoke into thin air. That's how the opera ends.
I really like this story. But I personally think that perhaps the little girl was not as brave as the opera makes her out to be. I'm not sure she deserves all the praise she is given.
I've never considered that before. Opera is always an interpretation of the events it purports to portray. A certain degree of deviation from the truth is always inevitable. When my father wrote the script for this play, I suppose his intention was to inspire his audience with the character of the divine damsel.
I think it's a great story. The ideal story.
Well, it sure inspired Paimon!